Today we have with us Mr. Subrata Tripathi. He is the CEO of Adani Ports and SEZ. We are standing at the Mega Maritime Summit, which is a global summit for ports and shipping sector. Mr. Tripathi will be talking to us about the overall expansion plans for Adani Ports and SEZ. The company is already celebrating 25 years in the country, and they have major expansion plans across the ports. My first question would be on your, lots going on as far as the company is concerned. We are celebrating 25 years. Vizinjam Port today, we had the first vessel berth today. So if you can talk to us about what your major plans are for the next 25 years, if you can talk to us.
25 years is a large horizon. Let me first tell you how the 25 years have been. The 25 years that Mundra has had has been a journey of glorious addition to the maritime history of India. If you look at a time in 90s when the PPP were introduced in all the ports and in the port sector at large, a large beneficiary of this has been the Adani Ports and SEZ. Mundra berthed its first vessel on the 7th of October 1998, Alpha 2. Ever since, it has been an absolute glorious chapter in modern maritime history of India. We were the first port in the country to handle 100 million metric tons at Mundra port in 2014. We were the first port to reach 150 million metric tons. And at Mundra, we have a capacity of close to 270 million metric tons, one of the largest capacities available in any port in India. That's a very unique standpoint that we have. And therefore, among the various varieties of cargo that we handle, which are classified into dry bulk, into container and into liquid, and into gases, into SPM for crude, into LNG, you name it, every conceivable cargo that can land on a port is available at Mundra. What is also very unique is its geographical position, its proximity to the northern hinterland, its connect to the dedicated freight corridor, which makes it uniquely placed to carry double stack containers, and the fact that we combined with RVNL and Ministry of Railways as a JV partner to complete the subsidiary linkages to the main dedicated freight corridor running from the NCR region to Mumbai. While it is still awaited, we took the appendages and connected Mundra. The result has been that since 2020, Mundra has emerged as the sole largest gateway for container cargo in India. As I speak to you, last year at a level of 6.64 million TEUs, out of a composite close to about 19 plus million TEUs that India handled, that makes nearly every 1/3 of the container routed into the country is routed through Mundra port. And that's a very, very unique, kind of a achievement, I should say. Among the various development plans that we have for Mundra, we wish to develop additional container terminals. We wish to expand what we have, a basin at the West Basin. We wish to expand that and create a maritime ecosystem in which a industrial ecosystem with adjacencies of industries such as coastal powered by Tata, such as Adani Power 2, ultra mega power plants. We're developing a copper plant over there. We're developing green hydrogen. We're developing green PVC and a host of other industries, which has actually been a magnet to attract to Mundra. And the fact that we're in SEZ, the fact that we are blessed with nearly 40,000 acres of land, and the fact that we have converted barren land 25 years ago into a land of prosperity is a story of resilience, of great ambition. And I think Mr. Gautam Adani and the family has done very well in exploiting this to the greater good of economy and the greater good of maritime trade in India. As I speak to you, we are working on expanding Mundra, which you were very keen. We are also expanding at our various other locations. We have got clearances to expand at Hazira port, which is a very unique port in terms of handling of liquid cargoes at 5 million metric tons, one of the largest in the country. We handle additional cargoes also. It's very uniquely positioned in South Gujarat. One fact you will see that all our ports, as we call them, string of pearls along the coastline of India, dotted nearly at every state. I'll give you a quick roundup. We have Mundra, which is our westernmost port. We have a terminal at Tuna Tekra in the Kandla port. We have Dahej and the Gulf of Kambat. As you come down to South Gujarat, we have Hazira. Look at the hinterland coverage that we do. Every part of North India, West India comes into this coverage. We've acquired Dighi port through an NCLT process that gives us a quite a important foray into Maharashtra area and an marine ecosystem which will develop when cargoes would be coming out of erstwhile ports, and we will be answering the growth of industrialization at Dighi, which is closest to the Pune sector. Then when you go down, you spoke about Villingam, and I wish to congratulate everybody. We inaugurated the port by the first vessel berthing on the 15th of October. We are very grateful to the people of Kerala and to Honorable CM who inaugurated that in presence of Sri Karan Adani ji. And as the port develops, it will become India's answer to transshipment cargoes. You are aware that its proximity to the international shipping lines and the ability to attract and converge many cargoes, it will become an aggregator of India's EXIM transshipment cargo, hitherto which India was missing out to ports like Colombo, Jebel Ali, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, etc. So that will be the answer. If you turn the coast, you come to Karikal, which we acquired in the month of April through an NCLT process. That's very unique in the middle of Tamil Nadu, in the central part, which gives us a foray into the central part of Tamil Nadu, into a large industrial base and into the power plants of Tamil Nadu government. Then as we go up, we come to Katupalli, which is at Chennai itself, and a terminal in Ennore. Go up the coast in the state of Andhra. We have two large ports, Krishnapatnam, which happens to be incidentally India's second largest private port at a capacity of more than 65-70 million metric tons and handling more than about 50 million metric tons, makes it second largest private port. You come up the coast of Andhra to northern Andhra, where we have Gangavaram port, and then step into the shores of Odisha. We have Dhamra port, which is the gateway for the mineral-rich and landlocked state of Jharkhand as well as Odisha, foraying into Chhattisgarh as well into parts of Bengal, Bihar and UP. So when you look at it, you come to the state of West Bengal, where we are developing a terminal at Haldia port, and the concession that we have been granted on behalf of government of West Bengal for developing Tajpur port on a 99-year concession period. We are awaiting the final concession agreement when we can commence work on that. And if you look at it, this is, as we very proudly and with all humility we say, the string of pearls of ports in India, and giving an coverage to nearly 90% of India's hinterland. And with the container cargoes that we have and with our positioning, so at each of the ports, each has a very, very exclusive, unique position. If Mundra is about containers, Hazira is about liquid, Vizhinjam is about transshipment, Krishnapatnam is about answering the whole power bases, Katupalli is about looking at the ecosystem of Chennai and becoming a very important port, Gangavaram is answering the industrial needs of Chhattisgarh, Dhamra is all about serving the EXIM and industrial requirements of the large steel plant and steel industry base at Odisha, West Bengal, Jharkhand, and also a very unique industrial base of Kalinganagar, which is developing, where India's desire to produce 300 million metric tons, nearly 100 would come out of this place in the future. So we are very placed. Other unique feature of the Adani ports is that at Mundra, we have an exclusive railway line. And considering that when we began in 98 and thereafter in 2001 with the concession agreement, we quickly built a railway line which hitherto was never available in India. This is the first example of a large railway connectivity of more than close to 70 kilometers being built from the rail network, rail head at Gandhidham, Adipur, right up to Mundra. That really opened up the huge opportunities and possibilities of Mundra and linking it to the northern hinterland. Similarly, at Dhamra, we have built what is called a non-government railway. And this is another PPP initiative of the Ministry of Railways. So today, these two exclusive rail connectivities positions us very well to act as appendages to Indian Railway and become woven into their network. And the fact that we also run what is called the general purpose wagons, GPWIS. We also run the container trains on the flats. So we are woven into this intricate cycle of logistics where we do end-to-end servicing. So what would you look at? Adani ports are not just giving answers to trade in terms of handling cargo at their ports, but we are giving unique solutions from end to end. So when we look at Mundra, we look to serve partly in the North India. We take containers, do the last mile, first mile aggregation and disaggregation, serving all our customers. Similarly, at the eastern ports, through the GPWIS, we're doing a service from the ports into the plants of Tata Steel, SAIL, and many other steel plants and bauxite plants, others. So these are very unique proposition of end-to-end play that we do. And that is actually the most USP of the APSs at ports.
What I wanted to ask is, now that you spoke about the string of pearls, so all put together our capacity stands at around 580 MTPA. So out of that we have handled around 340 MTPA last year. So what is the kind of capacity that we are looking to handle in this year? If you can give a update on that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. This year, like every other year, is a robust performance. In Q1 as well as in Q2 and at the end of H1, we are at 200 million metric tons, which means we are well on course to handle about 400 million metric tons, which is in line with the guidance that we had given that we wish to achieve 500 million metric tons by 2025. And at close to 300 and nearly 350 out of the 600 ballpark figure of capacity that we have, and having handled close to 350 million metric tons, as I said, in all humility, close to about 25% of India's cargo is routed through the APSs at ports. This year, we are well in line to handle 400 million metric tons.
And the other thing is that you spoke about expansion across all the ports that you have undertaken, across green as well as traditional cargoes that we are getting. So what is the kind of investment that we are looking at, and what is the kind of timeline that you have set for that?
See, investment would be specific to individual ports. I would not like to delve into that. I'd like to tell you exactly what we are doing. As I told you, each port has a unique position. When you look at it as a portfolio, when you look at it as a port, I would wish to distinguish both. When you talked about a green transition, you are aware the world is going through an inflection as far as energy transition is concerned. We in our ports today have a contract demand of utilizing nearly 250 megawatts of power. By about April of 2024, we will be substituting that entirely from renewable sources, that is green power, which we are going to produce, and APSs that has already secured about 1000 megawatts of power at Khavda, where through solar and a hybrid of wind, we'll be producing about 1000 megawatts. 250 will consume for our ports and will secure for the future of our ports. So this green transition is a very bold statement that we have taken in line with what we have been always saying and guided earlier, that we wish to be carbon neutral by 2025, and we are well in course. There are rating agencies who are evaluating us, and I wish to make you aware that the rating agencies have given us number one position in the emerging markets. So we are well on course to achieve that. We also are on course to achieve a net zero target, along with the very ambitious and right targets that Government of India out of the COP26 has given. We are in line to do net zero by 2040. And as I speak to you, electrification in most of our handling equipments, especially in the berth, have all been electrified. This is how ports are emerging and becoming more modern in line with the way world ports are developing. So it's very proud to say that today we are truly world class in terms of efficiency, in terms of understanding the responsibility of handling the carbon energy transitions and being future prepared. You've also hinted about green hydrogen. This is all in an exploratory stage, but we are also aware that when at Mundra, so many vessels call to us, and each of our port, they will develop them for hubs for doing bunkering for them, and the bunkering in the future would be green bunkering. Everything is in the works and it is being planned absolutely properly, and execution, you should have no doubt, execution, we are very strong as we have always proved.
Just one question, additional question to this. If you can put a broad overall approximate figure to the total, because you must be having a Capex for a year and then for 5 years.
We do have the Capex. As I said, I would not like to get into a portfolio level of Capex. I would like to individually take it up. Very soon we'll be talking to you after our H1.
For Mundra, if you can say something like...
At the moment, as I told you, for Mundra, we are designing new container terminals. We are designing the growth of our other, dry cargo developments of berths. So please wait as we come out with the H1 figures. We'll really lay out.
One last question on overall, if you look at the global scenario, there is a Russia-Ukraine war going on. There is Israel war now going on. People are talking about recession. So what can be the projected impact on overall, say, port sector or for Adani ports?
See, first of all, let me take you slightly back into history. If the CAGR of the Indian ports has been at a 6 or 7%, APSs at ports have grown at more than 13-14%. That gives us a confidence that we have always outpaced and always grown very robust. When you look at the last year and this particular year, we are seeing phenomenal growth in terms of our incremental growth itself. As I told you, when we designed the budget this year, we were just about thinking of coming to a figure of 400. Now we are well on course to do 400, which means we see no signs. If anything, the animal spirits, the growth, the India story is very secure, and we are a very integral part of the India story, very integral part of the EXIM gateways that India needs through all its ports, and especially the responsibility that has been given to APSEZ ports.
Thank you very much.